For those of you that are here for the first time or not, my name is Tammy Phelps. My business partner and Andre Johnson and I founded the District RIA, Real Deal Investment Club, Deals or No Deals, and Renew, which is our real estate network for entrepreneurial women, and we are continuing to impact secular DC and grow to be able to make huge differences in all of the investors' lives that are out there in the trenches day in and day out making this business work. And we are really, really excited about you being here. I've had the opportunity to talk to a few people. I know most of you that are here, and I can certainly attest to the fact that there are a lot of transactions being done. There is a lot of rehabbing that is going on as we speak. And the two lovely ladies that are sitting right here getting ready to put their dinner into their mouths, they didn't know that I was going to pick on them, but I am going to pick on them and share the unbelievable journey that they've taken and where they are right now. They are an unbelievable inspiration to me. Every single time I talk to them, they're so excited about what it is that they're doing. And Nancy and Marina just shared with me that they now have 25 buildings, 35 units with only 30% vacancy, 5 rehabs going simultaneously, all here locally, ladies?
In Baltimore.
All in Baltimore. And they are shaking up Baltimore as we know it. And I am thrilled because I now have fellow warriors, if you would, in Baltimore. So many investors have shied away from Baltimore, and I can tell you that if you have not invested in Baltimore, or if you are investing in Baltimore, it still is, it always will be a phenomenal city. There are amazing opportunities and amazing deals there. They were just sharing with me that they got a 3-unit under contract that was 100% occupied, cash flowing from day one. So whether it is a 3-unit or a 188 unit or a 70 unit or a single family home, whatever you're into in terms of real estate investing, the one element that separates those that are successful from those that are not successful is those that take action. And I can tell you, for those of you that are not taking action, the only thing that is stopping you is FEAR, and that what stands behind FEAR is YOU. So if these two women can get out there and do what they're doing, and ladies, when did you start these acquisitions?
About 5 years ago.
About 5 years ago?
It'll be 5 years in February we bought our first house.
But a single family?
Right. We bought, well, that one we rehabbed and sold. That one is some of the money we used. We bought it for 116, sold it for 184. 5 months later, rehab, made $53,000 on it.
Not a bad day's work.
And then we used that money to just keep going.
Keep going.
Right now we're into owner financing, no money down. That's our big goal.
And they bought a 7-unit building in Baltimore City, no money down, seller financing. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, and it's paid off in 27 months.
And it's paid off in 27 months. So there's absolutely, positively amazing opportunities, guys, even in the market, despite all the naysayers and the negativity that is going on out there across the media and across the news wires. So the number one thing that you need to get out there and do is what?
Buy.
Take action. You've got to take action and get out there and buy, because there's never going to be another time historically where we're going to see the opportunities that we have right now. Anybody else have any other exciting news or success stories or things that they've experienced in the real estate industry that you'd like to share with us? No? All right. Well, guys, what I would like to do is also, yeah. Would like to take just a few minutes, and any of our strategic business partners and anybody that would like to come up and just give anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute, a really, really shameless commercial to really shamelessly self-promote yourself. Please come on up so that, come on up.
Here I am.
This is Juliet.
How are you, sweetie?
Good, I'm
great.
awesome. How are you? That's because I've been away for a whole week.
I'm a little jealous. I have not been away for a week. I've been working my butt off. So my name's Juliet Fogarty. I know I'm probably boring you at this point because most of you have seen me before. I work with a company called Rent to Own Market. We do lease option and contract for deed. We're currently expanding our partnership. We have a really great opportunity business in a box that you can plug into. Today is the time to do lease options and contract for deed, because we've got buyers who can't buy and sellers who can't sell, and we basically marry them together through transactions, taking a middle position of profitability. So if you want to know more about that, please talk to me. It's a really great opportunity in this marketplace, and we're growing like game busters, and we're doing tons of transactions. So please come see me if you have questions.
And it's interesting that you say that, because Jason is actually going to be talking about one of his acquisition strategies, which is what you just said,
Voila.
lease option.
Voila.
Absolutely, lease
So
option
please
is
come
the way
talk
to
to
go.
me. Come see me. I'll be happy to explain our programs to you.
Thank you very, very
No
much.
problem.
Anybody else would like to come up and shamelessly self-promote yourself, what your needs are, what your wants are, any deals that you have? Going once, going twice, sold. All right, guys. Well, what I would first like to do is take just a few minutes. And how many of you currently that are here with us this evening are actually Dealmaker members? Okay. For those of you that are here for the first time, we have information out on the table. The Dealmaker is, we have two different levels, Dealmaker and Dealmaker Plus. You get access to our Saturday workshops. We will be having a class this Saturday with Jason. If you are a member, you get to attend that entire day with us for free. You get access to the 360 Real Estate Investor, which is Analyzer for Dealmaker Plus. You get access to Realty Track, which is one of the top leading online resource tools that realtors use and brokers use to get access to all the different foreclosures, all the different bank-owned properties, all the information going on in the real estate market. And I now know that Realty Track also has multi-unit properties also listed on their site. Not only that, you get to attend every single one of our meetings by being a member. And as I said, we have Renew, which is our real estate network for entrepreneurial women. That is on the second Wednesday of the month. The Real Deal Investment Club, which meets in Falls Church, is on the first Wednesday of every month, and that is at the Comfort Inn. We have the District RIA, which is this evening, and oftentimes we bring in some of our friends in the industry, like Jason, who is here as a national speaker, to talk on a very timely and very, very important topic, and that is on hotels and motels. So you are really in for a very, very special treat for what he's going to be able to share with you. How many of you in the room have actually accomplished acquiring, renovating, buying and holding your first property? So if you have already accomplished purchasing a single family home, rehabbing it, selling it, or putting a resident in there, dealing with contractors, I will share with you that what Jason is going to share with you on a much larger scale is absolutely no different than doing it with one single family home. And I can attest to that with all the multi-unit properties that we own across the country. So it's really, really exciting. It's an exciting time to be in real estate. It's an exciting time to be a part of the District RIA family. If you were not able to attend the Deals or No Deals, which is the fourth Wednesday of every month, that'll be next Wednesday. You not only get to enjoy dinner with us for free, it's at the Teppanyaki Grill, but there will not be any presenters there. That is an evening just for you, where realtors, brokers, other investors in the area bring in deals that they're working on, deals that they have, opportunities that they have available for you. And we sit and we talk about the strategies of how we acquired those properties and the strategies of what they're doing to get out of those properties, and taking you through the entire case study. So it's a wonderful way to come out and not only network, but hear about all the other deals that people are involved in and how they structured those deals, how they acquired them, how they went through the entire acquisition process, how they closed them out, and then what they're doing on the other side once they acquire those properties, whether they're going to buy and hold them or whether they're going to flip them by rehabbing them and then selling them. So make sure that you mark your calendar for next Wednesday evening. Make sure you go to the website, districtrea.com. It's at the Teppanyaki Grill. It is in Lanham. So we now are on the Virginia side, and we are also on the Maryland side. So that way, not everybody is having to cross one side of the river each and every time to come to all the different meetings. So there really is no excuse at this point for not being able to join us for at least one meeting. Jason Schubert, has anybody had the privilege and the opportunity of hearing Jason speak before? Anybody? No? Oh, fantastic. You're in for an awesome surprise. Does everybody have paper and pen? Because you're going to want to take some very, very detailed, copious notes. Jason started out in residential rehabbing, just like most investors did. In 2004, 5 hours a week, he was working for Dell Computers. He has done 18 houses with no money down, either on a lease option or doing them via subject to. So he has a lot of experience with exactly what Juliet was just talking about with lease options or subject to. He did 30 to 50 houses in 1 year for 5 years straight. He then stumbled upon hotels and motels, and he is now making $10,000 a month instead of $100 a month. And I just had the opportunity to spend just a few minutes with him. He is going to share with you a couple of the acquisitions and transactions that he's currently working on with students today. And one of them that he shared with me absolutely blew me away, and I'm not going to spill it for you. I'm going to let him share it for you. But it was unbelievable what they have done with this property since February. So without any further ado, we are going to get started while everybody else is out there fighting the traffic trying to get here. So if you guys would please join me in giving Jason a huge District REIA welcome, I would really appreciate it. Jason, come on up. You're welcome. For those of you that are in the back, if you would actually move up just a little bit closer to the front to make it a little bit easier for Jason, that would be wonderful. Let me open this up for you.
Everybody hear me okay? Can everybody hear me? No. I'm just kidding. You thought that was going to be it?
No.
I'm just kidding. All right, so is this okay?
Can you guys
It's pretty
hear in the
loud?
back?
Everybody can hear me in the back? All right.
All right, take it away. Floor's
Well,
all yours.
thank you. I appreciate that. That was very nice. I have a breath mint for you, by the way. And it's not a hint. I was just being nice. It's from Hampton. So,
Oh, thank you.
you're welcome. But don't take them all because I'm going to need one afterwards.
Okay. I'll leave a half
Just leave
one.
one.
Well, I'll leave a half
How
one.
are you guys doing tonight?
Great.
I'd rather be here than out there, because I tell you what, it was a pain in the, yes, took us, right, to get here. Goodness gracious. I don't know how to turn this thing on. I've got, let's see
Oh,
here.
I'm sorry. I walked away from you.
Oh, that's okay. It happens all the time.
I didn't turn it
Computer
on.
is blocking it, look like.
No.
No, I didn't turn it on. It shut itself
Ah,
off.
see, all I had to do is hit the on button. All right, so, Washington, D.C. I've never been here before. This is my very first time. I've been like every other place in the country except for here. So I'm like super excited. I'm even more excited that I actually get to spend, I think, today, tomorrow, Friday, and even be back here on Saturday. So I'm really excited about that. Everybody see this kind of okay? Kind of clear? All right. I'm going to throw some stuff out there. I'm not going to be the typical, I'm not the typical speaker, okay? I don't go around the country speaking 200 to 300 times a year, bragging about it, speaking in front of lots of groups, right? I'm always around the country 200 to 300 times a year doing deals. That's what I do. I only speak to a handful of groups a year, all right? So this is kind of a hobby. I think it's fun. I like to share my story. I like to share my deals, which is more fun for me, to show you guys exactly what I do, because I think that you'll be blown away. There's not really a secret, since she already told you guys why I was here. So I'm going to pretend that you guys have never ever heard of what I'm about to talk to you about. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So for the first thing I'm going to talk about, the first thing I'm going to say is $5,000 a month. Who in here would like to have $5,000 a month? Right now, on your very first deal. Does that get your attention a little bit? What about? All right. 5 is too small. We're thinking too small. What about $10,000? What would you do for $10,000? Or I tell you what would you do for $10,000? It's a good question, right? What would you do for 10 grand? And then think about, take it even further. What would you do to make 10 grand every single month? You think that's a little bit more valuable? If you had 10 grand a month, how would that change your life? For the rest of your life. Not just, you know, every once in a while. Every single month. Now, I'm not going to show you checks, okay? What we're talking about is after all expenses are paid, guess how much you have left over in your bank account? I like that even more. It's just already sitting there. I don't have to collect it. I don't have to go to a closing. So my money is always in my bank account every single month at the end of the month. Now, the $10,000, guys, is actually being a little conservative. And some of the numbers that I'm going to show you, I promise you they are real. Okay? So it's not pie in the sky. I don't believe in that pie in the sky. You're going to hear a lot of people you probably have already heard will tell you, well, hey, you know what? You could be rich in real estate. And guess what? You only have to work 15 minutes a month. You could be sitting on the beach. And you're going to be rich in real estate. How many of you guys like Donald Trump? I mean, you kind of admire his work ethic, you know? What time does that man get up in the morning?
When he wants to.
When he wants to, but usually what time, I don't know if you've ever heard about his work ethic.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. That's right. When does he go home? 6, 7? He's always working. Is he going to tell you that you can get rich in real estate working 15 minutes a month? He's going to tell you how it is. And that's the way I'm going to tell you, okay? So, if you're willing to work, how many of you guys are working right now? All of you, right? How many of you guys have a job? A lot of you, 3/4 of you at least. How many full-time investors do we have in here? 4 or 5. Part-time investors? Okay. How many of you never bought anything whatsoever? You think this is just kind of a cool topic, or real estate might be something you want to look into? One person? Okay. Well, you're lucky, because this is actually, you get me the very first time out. That's pretty cool. Now, this is going to be a little different, all right? Because I'm not going to talk about, I started out a lot like you guys, to be honest with you. You know, I always thought that I had to think big, okay? I started off in real estate doing houses. But I didn't just jump into this commercial thing. I didn't. I actually kind of stumbled into it. I knew it was something that I wanted. I knew I wanted to think big, right? I just didn't know how I was going to do it. For me, I knew that I wanted what? Freedom. I wanted to spend time with my kids. You've got to have a why. What do you guys think this rich in 5 is? What does that mean? Took me 5 years. That's right, that's my story though, okay? Every single one of you, you're gonna have your own story. Your first deal, you know? All the pain and the crap that you had to go through just to get that first deal done. And then what happened after you got that first deal? Confidence, right? So Rich in 5, yeah, you know, that's my story. It took me 5 years. But since it's been more than 5 years, this is what I say Rich in 5 is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my Rich in 5 now, okay? That's my family. So that's the whole reason I do everything, and I work so hard, and I travel, and I really love what I do. And you'll see that in some of the deals that I'm talking about. But man, I tell you what, to be able to do the things with my kids, really any time that I want, is special. You know, I can go to field trips, I can do this and do that. I'm in real estate, so I wake up a little bit later than most people. But I also stay a little later too. But I started off exactly like you guys. I had a job, like most everybody. My job was at Dell Computers. Anybody heard of Dell? All right. Have you ever worked in a cube before? Dell was a great place, okay? I'm not going to complain about it. I actually do have a couple of complaints, all right? I had a boss, just like all of you. And while I was at Dell, I was there for almost 10 years. Always on the phone, always in the cube, making calls, taking calls. Well, when I got married in the year 2000, my wife and I went on a 2-week honeymoon to Alaska. We took a cruise to Alaska. When I came back, about a month and a half later, my grandfather passed away. And so I went to my boss, Wayne, and I said, Wayne, my grandfather just passed away. Is it okay if I go to his funeral? He's up in Indianapolis, and I'd like to go. What do you think Wayne said to me?
Yeah. Nope.
He said, Jason, you just got done with a 2-week honeymoon. I have a number, Jason, and if you're not here on the phones making sales, I don't hit my number. If I don't hit my number, guess what happens to you? So the answer is no. You cannot go to the funeral. Send a card. Seriously. That was the first time. I always knew I wasn't the best employee, okay? But that was like the first time that it really hit me in my stomach. I have somebody telling me that I can't go to my own grandfather's funeral. And when I think about it today, I mean, I've told the story a number of times, so I'm doing better. I don't tear up like I used to. But when I really think about it, it still upsets me today that I missed that. So that was like one of the biggest things that really drew me to, okay, this job thing. Now, I said, okay, fine. I put my head down and I worked. What was I going to do? I just got married. I just bought a house with my wife. I was 25 years old. What was I going to do? Leave my job? No. So I stuck it out. Had another occasion where it was my birthday, and I worked until 10 o'clock. I had my biggest client call me and say, hey, Jason, I need all these quotes, and I need them done today. So I did it. I called my wife on my birthday, said, honey, I am going to be working until 10 or 11, whatever you have, we'll do it tomorrow on your birthday. Cool? And, you know, she usually always had a surprise for me. Well, the next day I called the customer, my best customer, and I said, hey, got you all the quotes? How do they look? He says, great. Only problem is, Jason, we've decided to go with HP. I was like, what am I doing? Well, at that time I said, okay, something kind of just, a switch went off in me, right? And I was like, what, that's it, I'm done. I mean, I was so mad I couldn't even speak. So finally, I found out about a guy at work. His name was Brady. He looked like about a bald-headed George Bush, okay? But he was a really, really cool guy. He had suspenders on, he used to like to dress up, really cool guy. But I knew he had houses. I knew he did real estate, so I would go to Brady and I said, Brady, what is this real estate stuff that you do? He's like, well, look, I own 40 houses, Jason. I make about $8,000 a month in positive cash flow. It took me 8 years to do it. With hard work, you can do it too. I said, well, wait a second here. $8,000 a month in positive cash flow? Brady, what the hell are you still doing here? You know what his answer was to me? He said, where else can I surf the web, tell my reps what to do, and make $100 grand a year? I said, okay, that's a fair answer, I guess. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, what if I spent the most important hours of the day focusing on doing these houses, whatever you're doing? I said, so what do I need to do, Brady? Just tell me, what do I have to do? He said 2 things. Number one, read a book. It's called Retire Young, Retire Rich by Robert Kiyosaki. Have you guys read that book? Anybody?
Yep.
It's a pretty decent book. It's not a how-to book. It's a mindset book. Okay? After I read that book, I can't tell you how hard it was to go back to Dell. I was just kicking myself. What am I doing? Every call that I took, I was upset. I cannot stand my job. I hate my job. I gotta leave, right? Just because of this book. The second thing he did was give me one piece of advice I think was pretty important. He said, join your local real estate investment club. Do you guys know how important it is that you're here right now? Why isn't this room packed right now? Why isn't there hundreds of people here? Why?
It's rain.
You can answer back. Because besides the rain.
The economy bad, and the real estate market bad.
Why on earth wouldn't you want to buy when the economy's down? When the economy's down, what are prices?
Down.
So everybody wants to buy when the prices are going up. That makes a lot of sense, right? Why on earth? When did the most millionaires, or sometimes even billionaires, get created in real estate?
Recession.
The Great Depression. And now we've got this wonderful recession that we're in right now. Why aren't there more people taking advantage of it? Life gets in the way. Oh, you know what? I can't buy a house and do nothing and wait for it to appreciate 30%. That's no fun. I mean, I'm actually going to have to go out and buy properties really, really cheap? No, that's too hard. I'd rather just wait for the appreciation. I want to speculate again, like they did in Nevada, like they did in Arizona, like they did in Florida, maybe even here, right? So, Brady told me, you know what? Read these things, go to your investment club, and you'll do well. So that's what I did. I got to my investment club, and I started learning all these little tools like lease options and owner financing from people in this room, okay? I did my first deal. It took me 5 months. I did my first lease option deal in 5 months. And how much money did I make? What do you think? What's the average amount of cash flow on a house that you typically buy?
200, 300.
$200 a month, right? Usually. So I made sure that I was going to make $200 a month. Got my first deal, $200 a month, check mark. Second thing I did was make $6,000 on an upfront option payment for my tenant buyer. So I was very excited. But what did that really do? Created confidence, right? I was like, wow, I can do it. You know what I did? I actually called aged newspaper ads for sell by owners, for rent by owners. You know, the ads that were back in the Sunday paper in May, I would call in July and August. And if they were still available for sale, what do you think the sellers were? More motivated, right? So, I did 17 houses that year, 17 more houses that year using that technique alone. Just that. But then I was like, you know what? I am working really hard. I'm still at Dell. I'm still hanging out for rent-to-own signs in the yard. I'm still meeting people on weekends. I'm still driving neighborhoods. I am working really, really hard. This is starting to become transactional. And with all of this time that I'm spending on houses, I'm making $200 a pop. Now, it wasn't bad. I was building up a portfolio, right? I was doing what I was supposed to do. However, I wanted to think bigger. So, what show came out a number of years ago that everybody was talking about? You got big checks during this show.
Flip that house or something.
Flip this house. I had Armando Montalongo just down the street. You know? All these big checks. $20,000. I want one of those. So I started rehabbing houses. But boy, did I make some mistakes. You think you can make a mistake rehabbing houses?
Yeah.
I made a lot of mistakes. I mean, my first one, I thought I was a genius. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sub everything out myself. I don't need a general contractor. I'll sub everything out myself. Where was I when I did that? I was always at the house, on the phone. Where's my painter? Where's my roofer? Where's my landscaper? I said, okay, forget that. So I got smart, and I did hire somebody to sub everything out. But I said, you know what? You sub everything out. I'm going to buy all the materials. Because I'm not going to let you bump the price up on me. So I'll buy the materials. That's how smart I am. What do you think happened then? Where was I then?
Home Depot.
Home Depot and Lowe's. And I cannot stand going to Home Depot or Lowe's. I will never go to Home Depot or Lowe's again. I'll send my wife instead of me. Because you just can't go there for 5 minutes, can you?
No.
You're there for hours to look for the simplest thing. So, I said, all right, this is fun, but I did continue to, I did get lucky. So I was making some good money flipping these houses. However, it too began to get transactional, right? So what's the next graduation? What's the next big thing that you think about?
Commercial.
Multifamily, commercial. But I didn't know which one I was going to do. I thought it was apartments. And one day, I was looking in the newspaper and I found a deal. You guys ever heard of Waco, Texas? I found a deal in Waco, Texas. And what was interesting was in the investment section of my newspaper, and I called the broker and I said, hey, what's the deal with this 200-unit property? He says, well, it's 200 units, kind of strange property. It's a weird deal, Jason. And let me tell you about it. It's there's dirt roads, people pay cash, but it's 90% occupied. You should take a look at it before you put in an offer. Well, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So I drive up to Waco. I pull right in. Yes, there's dirt roads, all one-story rooms. Parking lot was full, and I'm just like, wow, this is interesting, but I'm a little nervous. I don't know if I'm going to do this, but I love to negotiate, so I'm going to put an offer in anyway. I love to negotiate. So I put in an offer. I think the asking price was around $550, okay, for 200 units. But it's, there's a pretty rundown, D-type property. And so I go ahead and I make my offer. I offered 250 grand. 250. What do you think he said? I mean, I bought houses more than that. I was rehabbing $600,000 and $700,000 homes. And I made an offer on this 200-unit property for $250,000. What do you think he said?
Yes.
He said yes. What do you think I said? If only you knew what I said. I can't say it here. But I said, oh, stuff, right? You know what? They accepted. Wow. That was a really good negotiation. However, I'm not going to be able to do it. And I hung up the phone. Patted myself on the back. I got it. You were good. Woo. But what was I going to do when I closed? Or how was I even going to buy it? How was I going to operate it? I had no earthly idea what I was going to get into. So I let it go. That too, I think about every day. About my 90% occupied 200-unit property for 250 grand. I still get upset. But that's okay. I learned from that, right? And I said to myself, the very next deal that I do, I'm not going to let a good opportunity slip through my fingers. You know what I'm going to do? I don't care if I make mistakes. I'm going to throw myself into the deal. I'm going to learn as much as I can about it once I find it, and I'm going to do it. So, you guys believe that deals produce deals?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely do. So I continued on with my business. Now, I was fortunate enough. I did leave Dell. It's actually a pretty cool firing. I pulled my manager into a room, and I said, D, have a seat, please. Just like that, I promise you. It was so cool. Have a seat. And he sat down. I said, D, I'm afraid I'm going to have to let you go. Now, I have a sense of humor, and he knows this, okay? So he was kind of like, man, what are you talking about? You're goofy, Jason. I know, but no, seriously, I'm letting you go. I'm firing you. You're fired. And you should have seen the look in his face. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm not working here anymore. I quit. I'm out of here. I'll see you later. So, that was a great feeling, and I hope all of you get a chance to do that with your boss, okay? Just make sure you let them go. It's the best feeling in the world, okay? You will at the end of this presentation. Now, don't do it tomorrow, but just wait till you have one of these types of deals. Okay? Let's not rush into that. However, so, I said, look, I'm going to just throw myself into a deal. And I was flipping a house, and my hard money lender, do you guys know what a hard money lender is? Mm-hmm. Okay. Hard money lender calls me up. Jason, I will do an inspection on the house. Meet me there. I've got your draw for you, but I also have something else. I said, cool. What is it? She's like, Jason, you're going to be very excited about this because when I got this, I immediately thought of you. I said, oh, you're getting me really excited, Lisa. What is it? She goes, it's a piece of crap. All right, Lisa, so you think of me, you think of crap, that's nice. What is it? She goes, just meet me at the house. So we get at the house, and she gets in her car, and she hands me this big stack of paperwork. It's like this thick. It was an appraisal. I said, well, what is it? She goes, Jason, it's the best kept secret in real estate. I said, okay, what is the best kept secret in real estate? I hope that I get this right. Boom, there it is. Now, does that look like the best kept secret in real estate?
I wouldn't say it's well kept.
Why are you guys laughing? Look at it. It looks, yes, it's got the baby poop color on the walls there with the big fat rocks and the sign that doesn't work. She handed me an 88-unit motel in San Angelo, Texas. You know what my first question to her was?
Where is San Angelo?
Where the hell is San Angelo, Texas?
Yeah, and you will not believe this. Her son lived in San Angelo.
No way. Wow, so did you get a chance to see this hotel?
Probably, I was in that town a lot when I went to visit.
It's on,
I
it
can't
doesn't look like
imagine
that now,
break
but I
that
tell you
up.
what, if you go to Google Earth, it still looks like that. It doesn't even have the rehab pictures, it stinks, but it's actually pretty funny. But, you know, this is an 88-unit motel. Now, guys, I hear all the time, you need to start off, Jason, this was the way I was supposed to graduate my real estate business, okay? Start off a single family. And when you get good enough and you have enough, then you need to go to a what? A duplex. And then you can graduate to a fourplex. And then if you're really good, you know what you're doing, you can do a 15-unit. Guys, the same amount of time it takes, the effort, the work that it takes to do a single family home, a duplex, a 15-unit, the same amount of time it takes to do one of these. The same amount of effort. You wake up every day just like everybody else. You have a choice. Life is about choices. I tell my kids this all the time. What's the choice? What is the activity that you're going to do that day? What are you going to do? Are you going to pick up the phone and call a house, a for sale by owner? Or are you going to pick up the phone and call a broker who can bring you one of these types of deals? All right? The choice is yours. Now, here's the deal about this property. She said, yes. First of all, my question was, where's San Angelo, Texas, right? So I go to San Angelo. Now, I didn't know anything about hotels. I didn't. My mindset was, I'm going to do apartment complexes like I was told to do, like what every other guru in the world tells you to do. Do an apartment complex. Start off small. Start off with a 12-unit, 20-unit. That's what I started looking at. But when I found this, I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to make it happen no matter what. So, I drive up to San Angelo not knowing anything. I did not know what to do. But I knew one thing. I was going to use the same type of mentality and mindset that I took with houses, strategies that I use with houses, and I'm going to apply it towards this. So what do when you find a property like a house? What's the first thing you do? You evaluate the house, right? You go to the house, you look at it. Have you ever bought a house sight unseen? I have not, never did. I did a lot of houses, not one did I buy sight unseen. Couldn't do it. There's other people who have done it, good for them, but that's just not me, all right? It's not my investing style. So I go up here and I walk through this property. I go to the property because I have to walk it. And I walked every single room in this hotel. Now, guys, this hotel was extremely bad, okay? Extremely bad. And I asked Lisa, I was like, well, Lisa, why is this the best kept secret in real estate? What makes this property so great? She's like, well, a couple things, Jason. First of all, well, number one, I have an appraisal here, and it says that the property's worth 1.25, as is, okay? And I'm like thinking with houses, right? So what's the ARV? She says 1.85. Okay, well, what can I buy it for? $804,000, most likely. That's the principal owed. Now, what you're going to have to do, though, Jason, is spend some time negotiating with all the private investors, because this deal had 4 liens on it, fractionalized over 16 individual private investors. It took me a year almost to close this deal. Almost a year. I had a fire at this property. I had, let's see here, we had one of the private investors passed away, so I had to negotiate with their heirs. We had all kinds of things. We had a roof blow off on the this main building, the lobby here. Does this have one of those little pointers?
Yes,
Probably.
dead center.
Cool. Thank you. So we had lots of issues with this property. And in the middle of this, okay, while I had it under contract, guess who sent me an offer?
Lisa?
No. Dell.
Oh.
I got a FedEx package sent to me from Dell. And inside of this package, Dell sent me an offer. You want to hear the numbers?
To buy that from?
I was already making $100,000 when I left, like 110, which is good. But I knew I wanted to do real estate. It gave me freedom and all that other stuff. But they came back and said, Jason, we want you back. We need you back. We've got a perfect position for you. They offered me $200,000. $200,000 a year to work at Dell. I had this package, and I sat on my bed with my wife, and we sat there and we talked about it for a good hour. You know, we weighed the pros and cons. You know, you got benefits, you got this, you got that, security, and all that stuff. I had this property under contract. I said, you know what, honey? If I don't do this deal, I don't want to live my life saying, what if? What if I would have done this? What if I at least would have tried it? I don't want to look back and say, man, you know what? You had an opportunity, and you went back to the safe route. Even though they're offering, guess what? Dell's not going anywhere. None of these companies that are out there right now offering you this or giving you security now, they're not going anywhere. If you have a chance, take it. You only live one time, right? How many times do we live? One time. And if you have an opportunity to do a deal, that even though it looks like this, after I'm done with this presentation, you will see why I took that risk. Because I knew. I mean, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you today if I would have taken that offer, right? And you're not going to see how I wouldn't be changing people's lives if I would have taken that offer from Dell. Wait till you see. Okay? I'm really excited about it. So, I walked every room, and guys, the rooms here were so bad, I gave them names. We had names for them. We had a mold room. That's a given, right? Oh, lots of mold, wall to wall. Two of the other interesting rooms were we had a cat room. Basically, you walk through the door, and the cats would scatter. But you couldn't go inside the room because you're afraid the fleas were going to jump on your pants. So we wouldn't even go inside that room. The most interesting room was the cigarette room. There was a gentleman in an occupied room who actually would go outside and he'd pick up cigarette butts, smoke the rest of them, and then bring them inside to his room and flick them up against the wall. He had a perimeter, 3-foot-high perimeter of cigarette butts all along the walls of the room, filled up his bathtub, his toilet, and his sink. It was disgusting. His room was the one where he fell asleep in bed and blew up 3 rooms.
Right.
Yeah, and he was okay, but he was a paying tenant. Now the rates on here are not very high at this time. As a matter of fact, when Lisa was telling me about the deal, you know, the second great thing she said about this deal was, Jason, there's, you know, not only is it San Angelo, but out of the 88 rooms, 22 of them are rentable. Well, that's great. That's there's upside, right? She said, well, yeah. And here's why. Because out of the 22 rooms that are rentable, the property is breaking even. I said, really? She said, yeah. That means that payroll, your utilities, meaning your gas, electric, water, payroll, everything was covered with the 22 rentable units that the property had. So, I go to the property, I walk the property, and I say, you know what, what's the second thing? All right, I've got a good idea of how bad this property is and what I need to do to it, but what's the next thing I need to do? Right, but I need to do what? What do you do when you find a house? Not yet.
Due diligence.
Due diligence. Running your comps. When you're buying a house, you want to see what days on market are. What are all the other houses selling for? The neighborhood, right? All that other good stuff. You want to know that if I can't sell it, I can at least rent it. Well, that's what I did here. And I said, all right, here's my Americana Lodge. And only a block away was the El Patio. It's another hotel. So I mosey on over to El Patio, and I walk through the lobby door. I said, hello, I'm a contractor, and I'd like to look at a good number of rooms. And she said, well, sir, I'm sorry. What do you mean you're sorry? Why are you sorry? Because we only have 2 rooms to show you. What do you mean you only have 2 rooms? The parking lot's full. Exactly, sir. We only have 2 rooms available. I said, well, how many rooms do you have here? She says, 100. Wow. So 98 room, what are your rates? She said $45 a day, 168 for the week, and about 600 for the month. I said, wow, that's pretty cool. Because the rates at my hotel are only $18 a day or an hour, okay? Just kidding. You can make some good money that way. Did you know that? That's a joke. $18 a day, about $115 for the week, and only about $300 for the month, okay? So I was getting very excited when I heard that El Patio had 45 and 160